Jess. Thanks so much for talking to me today.
Thank you.
The show just sort of begins.
Thanks for having me.
It's begun. I think it's, well, are you okay that it's already begun?
Ideally it would have started right now.
Okay.
And having started a few seconds ago, that's fine.
No, all right. Well, let's see. I've got them both. I've got two options.
Okay, great.
That works out well. So the show's called currently Matt Chat, although, I'm not married to that. I'm a free man.
I like
I could
chatty
have
with
any
Maddie.
name. Getting chatty with Maddie or
Yes.
chatty with Maddie?
Good. Probably getting chatty with Maddie does make more sense, doesn't it? But I also just like chatty with Maddie.
Yeah. These are good. These are all good options.
But I mean, who calls you Maddie other than me?
Maybe my older sister.
Yeah,
maybe?
right.
I'm not sure 100%. I mean, we've got that kind of you're like an older sister to me. Anyway,
yes.
So that doesn't add up.
You've always said that, actually.
Yeah. I look up to you.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, you did it all before me. So
yeah. Yep.
In my sister's case, like a good 15 months before. So
yeah. She did everything just before you.
Yeah. So my parents having 2 kids within less than 2 years. Is that
Psychos.
Right?
That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. It was a different time, admittedly. This was pre 9/11 and pre COVID-19.
And pre Netflix. There was less to do.
Yeah. They were chilling without the Netflix. And that led to a lot of babies. That's what was causing it, so to speak.
Yeah.
The outbreak of children back then in the olden days. You wouldn't even know this, but I was alive in the 1980s. Have you heard of them?
That is wild to me. I've heard of them, yes. But just the concept of knowing someone who was alive in that time it's pretty wild. I got to be honest.
Do you find it humbling?
Yeah, I think it keeps me grounded.
Yeah. Because you were born like well into the following decade.
Yeah, well into.
Yeah. 1990, right?
Yes, well into the 90s. I was born.
Months in.
Deep into the 90s. A whole 8 months into the 90s. You know, like a lot of people would say I missed most of the 90s.
Yeah. Well, if you remember the 90s, were you really there? You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And I don't remember them because I was an infant.
Someone else, our Patreons, because I do a podcast with you. People who might not know this, I do a podcast with Jess called Do Go On. We have a Patreon, and on there, someone put a poll up to say, what should this show be called? And the winning thing was Mullet Over with Matt.
Okay. Here's my question.
Okay.
And this isn't just in relation to the title suggestion. It's also just a question I've been meaning to ask you anyway. Are we keeping the mullet forever?
Oh, forever's a long time.
Right.
A long time.
So then, like, let's say this series, like, does really, really well, which I can only assume it is doing and will continue to do. Yeah. And then, you're like a dapper 50-year-old man with a very cool hairstyle because you're very wealthy and cool by then. And then the title is lost.
Wait, I'm just struggling. Are you connecting dapperness with not having a mullet?
Yes, I am, very clearly. It's a clear connection for me.
I don't know if that's necessary. You've sort of added 1 and 1 and got 17. Your maths isn't quite there.
My maths isn't good anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And you've proven that.
One of those cute things about me is that I'm bad at maths.
Yeah.
I like mullet over with what was it? Mullet over with Matt?
I've had maybe 4 periods of my life I've had a mullet. But there's been many non-mulleted periods as well.
Yeah. You can't be defined by one hairstyle.
You can't define me by one mullet.
You're so much more than that.
I also, in the 90s, which you'll barely remember as you were a baby for most of it, I had spiky hair, which was all the rage.
That's completely different.
The back end. Also had a 90s mullet. I had an 80s mullet. I had a 90s mullet. I had a whatever the next decade's called mullet. And then the last one, and then this new decade also. So maybe that's 5 because this one's crossed 2 decades.
So how many of those mullets though have been your decision? Because I feel like the 80s one.
80s one was not. No,
not your call.
Mum cut my hair for the first, but I reckon 8 years of my life or more. So
yeah, right. So that one
was just, she did the front.
Easy. Fronts are easy.
Back, because I cut my own hair at the moment, and I agree with Mum. The back is hard, but she could get around there, and
she could see.
She could see it where I can't. But I also, I think at the time it was somewhat in fashion.
Yeah, and so then by the time the 90s rolled around, was that then a decision that you made as, I assume, a middle-aged man by that point?
Yes. Yeah. You understand time, definitely. That's how it works. Yeah, no, it became my decision from then.
Yeah, right, okay.
My teen mullet, and then my 20s mullet was also a decision of mine. And then again, my 30s current mullet has also been one of my calls.
It's not your mum.
I mean, there's not someone just out of shot with a gun. You keep that length at the back. You keep that front short.
You shave that side. You keep that side very, very short. Like military short, but the back very long. I cannot stress that enough.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so life is stressful at the moment. Someone's always just out of shot. But not out of range.
For
the shot.
That's important. I mean? Yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah.
Is that a pun?
I do know what you mean.
No. I don't think it is.
I can't tell.
I'm confident. I can't tell. I'm pun blind.
You're blind to puns.
I can't see puns.
Are you cracking a beer there?
Yeah, I was going to crack a beer. So that's a big part of what this show is. It's catching up with my very good friends for a drink. And I try and pick a drink that in one way or another reminds me of my guest, either in style, art, substance, whatever. This one I picked because I know it is the only style of beer you like. It's not the one you love, the passion fruit Groza from Seven Bells, but it is a passion fruit sour. And this one's from the Bad Shepherd down in Cheltenham, near where I grew up. But it also, you're one of the most passionate people I know. One of the fruitiest.
Yep.
And also one of the most sour at times.
Yep. I've got my moments. Hey? What?
You do all three.
Yeah, and not everybody can.
Find a woman who can do all three.
She's passionate. She's fruity. She's a bit sour. I, on the other hand, have chosen something that was already in my fridge.
Oh, great choice.
Yeah. Because I sort of forgot about the drink element of this. So I've got a Summersby apple cider.
Oh, a real basic cider.
Yeah, it's a real basic bitch cider. And I love it.
Yeah, that's the one. That's your go-to. Because you don't love beer as a general rule.
I don't love beer. I tried as a teen. But, then again, as a teenager, you start with something like VB. And that's not exactly... that's not a good beer, arguably.
I don't hate it, but yeah, I know a lot of people do, but also a lot of people love it.
That's true. People
are
very passionate about
big cold beer, best cold beer is Vic. Big bitter.
How does it happen? You paint a sign or digging a mine, and you strain till you think that you'll burst. You sure got a thirst. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer, and the best cold beer is Vic. You're leading a band or shoveling sand. You can get it any old how. Matter of fact, I got it now. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer, and the best cold beer is Vic. Vic Bitter.
Oh. I think it was fine. And maybe it was fine when it was icy cold. The first maybe half was okay. And then because I'd nursed it a little bit, it would go warm, and then it was disgusting.
Yeah.
So your
teen years were early 2000s, and I think in Australia, beer variety didn't really exist until the 2010s, whatever that decade's called.
Yeah. I don't know. What is that decade called?
Yeah, because some people say it's the teens, but it's not, because 10, 11, 12 aren't teens.
Yeah.
just a real piece of shit decade.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I had a great time during it. A lot of great years, but
yeah, some of my best, I reckon.
give yourself a name, dog.
Yeah, but make
dog
yourself
of a decade.
Make yourself easier to name.
Yeah.
You know, that's on you, decade.
What do we call the 1910s? It's just the 1910s. Maybe that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the 2010s.
Oh, okay. That actually sounds fine.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, there we go. We solved that. So the 2010s is when beer variety came into fashion.
Yeah. I think it really exploded. Microbreweries and craft breweries and that sort of thing took off here. I think America was a bit ahead of us on that.
Yeah,
but apparently Australia started off at the very, like in the 1800s, 1800s, the early European settlement of Australia. There was a lot, like a heap of breweries.
Oh.
Like everywhere had heaps and heaps of them because it was just like one of the businesses people would start up. And then that slowly got shrunk down into every city had one big brewery. Melbourne, you could go to a pub and what do you want, a VB or a Carlton Draft? Both made by the same people and taste very similar. Which one do you want? Could have a Melbourne as well. Another one made by them also tastes pretty much.
What's the price difference between the three, if any? Is there?
Not really, but we'll probably give it one just to make it feel like you've got a choice.
Yeah. So there's one that's like the cheapest. I have a pet peeve of when it's something that my partner does sometimes. He'll just say, can I have the cheapest red wine or like the cheapest beer? And I'm like, don't say cheapest. You know?
Especially because you don't know. At least pretend you're looking.
Yes. If you're looking at like a wine list or something, you can figure out which is the cheapest. So just say that. Or just say the house red, that's the cheapest.
Yeah.
Don't just be like, hello, I'm not willing to spend much money at your establishment. The cheapest one, please.
He's doing it in a charming way, showing that he's there's no pretense there. He's not even pretending to be a fancy man. I think that's what he'd be doing. He's not going, hey, I'm a tight ass and I don't care who knows it.
Yeah. Yeah, he thinks he's being casual.
Yeah.
But, don't do it in a fancy place anyway.
I mean, that would be the one that I would choose probably.
Probably, because I can't taste the difference.
I can't until after I've had it. Who knows? Sometimes they say isn't there a thing where a lot of restaurants will put a pretty shitty wine as their most expensive because people do the opposite sometimes? Give me a bottle of your most expensive champagne. And then there's some people think the best one to get is the second most expensive.
Because they're just getting rid of their cheap shit.
On idiots who just want to show off.
Yeah, right. And you know what? If you're just doing it to show off, you deserve it. You deserve some shit wine because you're not going to know the difference anyway. At like a family birthday last year, I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like a nearly $800 bottle of wine. And it tasted like red wine. It just tastes like
I couldn't enjoy
red
it.
wine.
How do you enjoy something like that? I would feel nervous the whole time.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's being wasted on me as well.
Absolutely. It was completely wasted on me. I was like, it tastes like any red wine that I've ever had, reluctantly.
Right. I reckon there's two main types of red wine. It's the ones that are yuck and the ones that are nice.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't think they all taste exactly the same. There are definitely ones that I think are gross and ones that I think are good. And you've probably got like a split in the good ones. There's sort of like the lighter ones and the heavier ones or something.
Yeah.
So maybe there's three kinds. There's the shit ones, whatever they are. And then there may be two slightly different types of, whatever the drinking version of edible is.
Drinkable.
Drinkable, thank you.
I think drinkable is the highest praise for any type of alcohol. Oh, that's drinkable.
I'll keep that down.
Yeah. I don't want to spew immediately.
Is your Somersby? So Somersby is That is like one of the big couple of ciders. You'll see at most bottle shops in Australia.
Yeah.
Summersby. Is Strongbow still around?
Yeah, Strongbow's still around. I'm not huge on Strongbow. The problem is as well, because I thought a little while ago, I was like, I'm going to get into beers. I'm pretty sure I quizzed you on it at the time. Like I was like, I want to ease myself into drinking beer. But then one of the triggers for pretty severe migraines that I get is alcohol. So I just don't drink that much anymore anyway. And even with ciders, I've found, and I don't know if there's any science to this or whether it's in my head or something, but I'll find that like any really dark ciders will give me a migraine. But Summersby was like 90% of the time I'm fine.
Oh, right. Oh, that definitely feels...
very light. It's like piss. It's piss coloured.
Yeah, you Bear Grylls in it. I think that definitely is if you're getting bad migraines, I reckon that's smart to drink less.
Yeah, it just, you weigh it up and you go, it's not like a hangover where you're like, well, I'll feel a bit shit tomorrow, but at least I had a good time. This is like, I might need to be hospitalised. So I probably won't overdo it.
And that sort of does make it feel like it wouldn't make a lot of sense to like force your way into liking something that's going to make you feel bad anyway.
There's a really good chance it might make me feel very sick for a while. I'll just give it a miss. That's all right. It's fine.
I'm definitely drinking. I drink less than I used to as well. It's probably just a thing people do as they get older. Maybe.
Yeah, I think you go through stages. When you're young, and it's like you think that drinking is the equivalent of having a personality.
Yeah. It's funny talking to who was I talking to who grew up somewhere else, and they were like, I didn't have a drink until I was older, and they thought it was weird that I started drinking when I was 14. I'm like, oh, that I wasn't some weirdo where I grew up. That's just
normal. That's what you did.
Was doing. And you weren't that far from me. Was it a similar thing for you?
Yeah, I reckon we were probably not 14 for me, but probably like 16, 17 starting to drink, and then first couple of years of uni is like you're out a few nights a week.
Yeah.
And you bounce back so quickly. Your hangover lasts for like 15 minutes the next morning.
You're like, you go to another pub.
Totally. You're like, oh no, but you're well enough to get yourself to a McDonald's and get some sort of comfort food, and then you're fine. But it's like, if I'm hungover now, I'm not leaving the bed. It's not possible.
Fetal position.
Totally, for 3 days.
But back then it was at least Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then often a
church
Tuesday
on Sunday.
Yeah, church on Sunday, repenting for the sins of the week.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It was
my lord.
My lord, my lady. That's what I call Mary. She doesn't have a surname, does she?
Nah, she's Mary.
End of name. But I wonder about that now, like 14, and I think people going, 14, 15, that's no good. I'm like, yeah, you are right. But then
it was no good.
It's funny, looking back that was just what everyone was doing, just sort of quietly at house parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Parents weren't aware or anything like that really until a little bit later. But
I remember the first party I went to that had alcohol was like somebody's, I want to say 16th birthday, so maybe that's year 10, and the parents knew that there was going to be alcohol there, and like, it was on the invitation, so other parents knew, and my mum gave me a little like esky bag, like a little cooler bag with 2 raspberry cruisers and then 2 like just soft drinks, like I think they were Agram, like the blood orange Agrams or something, and I just had to have like, you can have 1 cruiser and then just have a she's like, but I turned up with a little esky. It's so cute and so sad.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like maybe that's smart parenting. She's obviously going, you're going to do it. I'd love to do it with some sort of control.
Yeah.
And reasonably. And I did it because I did it in secret. I was drinking Jim Beam free poured it into Pepsi bottles.
Yeah.
And, just got gross.
Yeah.
But that was because I didn't tell them. I reckon my parents would have done something similar if I spoke to them about it.
Yeah, I reckon that's probably the smart way to go about it. It probably depends on your kid. I don't know. Some kids would probably abuse that. But I think because my parents were sort of like, yeah, okay, you can do that. But, don't go too crazy. It meant it wasn't taboo. Like, it wasn't that exciting. So by the time I turned 18, I was like, yeah, whatever. I didn't really care that much. Maybe it was reverse psychology.
I think it is either way. That feels pretty smart. But yeah, it is also, it's just strange to think of, the things they would say, your brain hasn't fully developed yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should be pouring poison, on it, which is basically what alcohol is. It's just like, I was thinking about that a little while ago. I'm like, this is 4% alcohol. I may as well say 4% poison.
Yeah.
You're just having a light poison tonight. Yeah, having a few poisons with the boys. No worries.
I was thinking that recently because there's so much of like our social lives that are, especially young guys, like a lot of the social life is catching up and going to the pub or having drinks or whatever. It like really revolves around alcohol. And I'm like, it is poison. You're absolutely right. It's like, why are you purposely putting stuff into your body that you absolutely know is going to make you feel like shit?
It's weird.
But we do it. And I'm not saying I'm never doing it. I do it myself, but like...
Well, I'm doing it right now.
I know. I also get really... I'm probably ranted to you about this before, but sometimes I just get really stuck in this, like, just keep thinking about how humans made all of this up. Like, we're just like slaves to money, but we made it up. And we made up the systems that are in place. We just made it all up. It's all bullshit. And we made it up. And I get very freaked out by that.
Right. So we've created our own cage.
Just locked ourselves up. All these laws, rules.
Yeah.
We made them up.
What is it? Nanny state? Yeah, there was no state. There was no nanny. Humans did that.
No roads. We didn't have roads, did we? Oh, you can't
jaywalk.
Well, we fucking made up the road. We made it up. We made cars. We made it all up.
We made cars?
Not you and I. God, no. We couldn't do that. Maybe a Lego car.
Not that night where we had a few drinks. I can't remember all of it. I thought, mate, did we make cars?
Did we invent cars?
There was a thing I found out doing my podcast about primates, called Primates, that there are, I think it was vervet monkeys. They were studied, this group of vervet monkeys who discovered fruit that fermented, gave them it became alcoholic.
Escaped monkeys acquired a taste for alcohol by eating fermented sugarcane left in the fields. Today, they satisfy their thirst by raiding local bars. They have learned to be sneaky. Picking the right moment is everything.
And they studied this troop of vervet monkeys, and they found that they really mirrored humans. The same amount sort of became drunk and addicted to it, sort of alcoholics. The same amount would, as a percentage as humans, sort of teetotalers. Some just having it casually, some using it to socialize and that sort of stuff. It was really interesting.
Wow, that is
kind of made it feel like it's an inbuilt thing somehow.
Yeah. It's not just marketing.
Yeah.
It's not just societal pressure.
We'd find a way.
That's very interesting. Do they fall under the category of cutie primates?
No, I think they're in the monkey section.
Boring.
So viewers might not know this. There are 3 categories of primates. You got apes, which we are a part of. You got the monkeys, which things like spider monkeys and baboons, I think, are in there. Yes, they are. I'm pretty sure. And then the third category, and these are the ones I hadn't heard of before. They're like lemurs and pygmy marmosets and that sort of stuff. They, I still don't know what they're actually called, but Jess came up with the term cutie pie category.
Yeah, because and the only criteria there is that their eyes have to take up at least 40% of their face.
Okay.
That's probably too much, isn't it? 30%? Like the top, like the top third of their head should be eyes.
They got to be eye heavy.
They gotta be, they gotta have big eyes. Is what I'm trying
They
to
got
say.
to pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've sort of. There are times where Jess will pull out a measuring tape and say, so "You get back in that monkey group. You're no cutie pie, little balls.
You get out of here."
Little balls short for little eyeballs. And that did also, there was a bit of confusion for a while that some people thought Jess thought cutie pie monkeys were ones who had real big testicles. But that was never the case.
No, it's usually the opposite.
Yeah.
They
Teeny
tend to
tiny.
be small animals and therefore proportionately small testicles.
Yeah. And
That's what I've learned in my studies anyway.
Yeah. Your studies are that normally the size of the being is proportionate to the size of the balls.
Correct, yes.
But not with eyes and not with cutie pies.
Not with eyes and cutie pies, no.
Yeah.
But testicles, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Testicles are always proportionate.
Always.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
That makes sense, doesn't it? I don't want to go down the route of
No,
chat.
I mean, you know this about me. I've got huge balls. And
I don't know that about you. It's sad that I know it. But,
I'm not a huge person. And so I'm somewhat of a medical marvel in that regard.
But you are a huge personality.
Personality, yes. They are in proportion to my personality.
Yeah.
So.
It doesn't match your physique, but it does match your personal style.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm
big.
A big hugger. Big hugger. Maybe that's what it is. The bigger the hugger. Are you a hugger? Well, you got big balls.
Bigger the nuts are.
And bigger the nuts are. Bigger the hugger, bigger the nuts are. We're going to get T-shirts made.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious, I should say, because my backdrop here is not particularly interesting.
Is this one of the ones that you downloaded? Did you download?
Yeah, I downloaded this.
That's a JPEG?
Yeah, just for a bit of a gag.
Yeah, could I get one with a door and a blank wall?
And a bit of a chair.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just moved into this house and I haven't set shit up yet.
Right.
So it's just very blank.
Okay.
But,
Well, the viewers will be furious. They expect a certain level of aesthetic from you.
Well, what the sort of aesthetic I'm going for further down the track is I want it to look like I've been on the hunt for a killer for several years. So I'm going to have heaps of newspaper articles, photos that I've taken without people's knowledge. I've stalked them. And then I'll just have lots of red tape sort of connecting all the things, lots of things circled.
You want those pins with string running around them? Yeah.
And I'm going to leave like an ashtray around. It's going to be filled with cigarette butts. And there's just going to be like energy drink cans. So it's just like, oh, she hasn't left this room in a long time.
Right. Do you drink energy drinks?
No. I don't smoke either, but
I used to back when like early 20s, those days of going out 4 nights a week or whatever. I'd have an energy drink before heading out. There was a time where I don't know if they're still popular, but vodka energy drinks. What like a bad idea they are.
Like a vodka Red Bull?
Yeah, but they were marketed in little cans. There were Pulse, and there was like 3 or 4 different brands that did it. Smirnoff had one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I haven't seen them, but I haven't been looking for them for a long time. I have, of course, had energy drinks. Yeah. I went through a phase of like, I would have them sometimes at Triple J when I was doing the overnight shift because I wouldn't have slept for 24 hours. So it's like, you need something to pick you up. But I don't have them much. My brother has like, I don't know if he still does, but he definitely went through a phase not that long ago of having 4 of the big cans every day, which is about 1 liter, I think, of V.
Imagine how much, they show it sometimes how much sugar it is, just piling the sugar in front of it. That would be a bag of sugar. But that is a pretty big tradey thing, I think, the energy drinks.
Yeah. They get up very early.
Yeah. When I used to work for the heating and cooling installation company, the V's were big news. We all just smashed V's every day.
And I'd choose a V still because a Red Bull would just make me think of a Jaeger bomb, and that just still triggers
the warmth of the Jaeger.
Oh,
Isn't that's what I remember? The coldness of the Red Bull and this warm Jaeger drink.
A warm, thick liquid. And like the Red Bulls weren't always refrigerated that well, you know? So they were kind of like cool. They weren't cold. And then, you're right, like a thick, sticky liquid going in it, and then you drink that. Why?
I once went to, this must be one of the last times I ever bought one, but I've got some bad stories with vodka Red Bulls and Jaeger bombs and that sort of stuff. I remember in the UK, the second time I went over there, about 10 years back, was there with a mate, and we went to this pub, and I went up, I've probably told you this before, I went up to order, and I said, we're jet lagged, we need a bit of energy. I said, I'll get a round of vodka Red Bulls first. So I said, 2 vodka Red Bulls, please. And they go, oh, it's special tonight. Double vodka Red Bulls are cheaper. And I said, 4 double vodka Red Bulls, please. In my head, that made sense. Like, that value would be crazy not to.
I better get 2 each.
But they've already doubled the vodka. And we drank them exclusively for the rest of the night.
No. You're
one after the other went and got a round of Red Bull, double vodka Red Bulls. And that is by far the worst hangover I've ever had. The kind that it was like, I would have been happy to be put out of my misery.
Kill me.
I projectile vomited. Someone got me a Powerade the next day, or a Gatorade, and it just like meters.
No.
It was real rank. It was, and it just like, it would have been the sugar come down as much as anything else.
Yeah, and all the fucking guarana and all the stuff that makes it so high energy, and the caffeine. It's man.
Probably the double vodkas didn't help either.
That probably wasn't great. It wasn't like it was double shots of water in there, but it wouldn't have helped. It's a bad combo.
In the cab
on
the way back to our another friend, I was staying at another mate's place who was living over there, and on the way back, they could not find it because their addresses in London are bizarre. They're real long and confusing. And I gave it to the taxi driver. We were missing some key info, and he was just driving around. My mate had fallen asleep in the back, and I'm just stressing and buzzing. And
God.
Out of my, and I woke my friend up. I'm weeping. I don't understand. That's all I know is what I've given you, man. Please, I just need a light.
I need to go to bed for a week, please. Just take me to prison. I don't care. Just leave me alone.
I don't know.
Just kill me.
Anywhere, yeah.
I'll pay you 50 quid. Just run over me.
Just let me go.
Please.
That was not a good time.
No.
I was in Europe for 2 months, and I think it was, do you live next to a cathedral or something?
Yes, I was wondering if you could hear that.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
those
bells go off 3 times a day. Every day.
It's do you find that it's like a charming thing or
It's I thought it would be annoying, but it's quite nice.
Sounds cool.
It'll finish in a sec.
Jeez. So people can track you down. They just have to go to one of Melbourne's many cathedrals.
Yeah, find a church. Not saying which one, obviously. That would narrow it down.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you which one it is.
Because you've got buried treasure, don't you? In
your
ceiling.
Shut up. Yes.
Okay.
I buried it in the ceiling. Yes. Obviously. Speaking of energy drinks, something that happened only this year. Oh, well, I guess like it was New Year's. Oh no, it was like the very start of this year. We went to a music festival in Byron Bay, went to Falls Festival, and they had like, what's the drink called? They call it a Calypso, and it's like vodka, and it's made with like a tropical Red Bull, and it's pretty cheap, and it's like nice to drink and refreshing because it was very, very hot. So I was having that. My partner got a vodka Red Bull, and then I think he had maybe one of those other ones later. But that was at about 3:00 in the afternoon, and he is very, very sensitive to caffeine. And I woke up the next morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he was just sitting on the edge of the bed. And I said, "Are you okay?" He goes, "I haven't slept."
Oh no.
He did not sleep because of an energy drink he had 12 hours earlier.
Wow. Jeez. And he never slept again.
He still hasn't slept. It's weird, actually.
That's no good at all.
No, and the next day we had like a 5 or 6 hour drive to do. I was like, well, I'm doing the driving today. Okay.
Well, the fact that he can't sleep anymore makes him a good driver. You could just do it overnight. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's actually just applying for jobs as a pilot for whenever travel opens up again. He's going to be able to do the long haul, and they don't even need to pay two of them. He can just do it all. So,
do you have footy's back? They've announced this week that footy's going to be back in June.
Okay, that's soon. That's great.
Yeah,
I did not hear that.
Expecting because everything has so far gone better than planned. I'm still half of me still expecting everything to go pear-shaped.
Oh, me too.
But I'm starting to like beautiful sunny weather's happen. Melbourne autumn can be so nice. So everything's just feeling a bit more positive around the place this week, I reckon.
But like, surely they're still not going to have crowds, right?
No, they said they're not fully ruling it out, but yeah, it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
The teams from South Australia and Western Australia are going to have to hub in the Gold Coast. So they're staying at resorts on the Gold Coast because the South Australian and Western Australian state governments wouldn't give them, which is fair enough, wouldn't relax their quarantine restrictions, like going back in after quarantine for 2 weeks, so they wouldn't be able to travel to play. So so there's it's going to be interesting. Anyway, interesting. I'm glad.
That would suck for the players with families.
But yes, definitely, and I imagine a lot of them have some sort of family, whether they're their own or parents or whatever. But they have said that the AFL is going to pay for them to be flown in and out as much as they want.
Oh, okay, well, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's good. But yeah, wow, okay, I didn't know that. Living in a resort could be. I reckon living in a resort is the sort of thing that on paper sounds really fun.
Yeah,
it
wears off so quick. I imagine
so quickly.
The last time, like we stayed at a resort in Thailand last year for the Koh Samui Podcast Festival, and I had such a great week. But even by the end of it, it's kind of like gets to the point where you're like, all right, I've sat by a pool a lot and near the beach. It's paradise, but I couldn't see myself living there for months on end.
No, that would be so tedious. And also like like most hotel rooms, they are sort of a short-term thing. So it's just one room, you know.
They're not built for living.
No, there's no kind of, if you're lucky, you've got a couch and the TV and not just like a TV in front of the bed.
Yeah.
If you've got a tiny little table, you're living.
Oh, yeah. Oh, desk. Oh, I might sit over here and do some bit of work. Tippity tap.
Yeah, I might just open a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I've got business calls. I've got to call a client in China, I guess.
Yeah, might tick off a few things off my to-do list.
Which I definitely have. I'm not just trying to desperately fill each day.
Staying at a resort.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But there'd be good things about it. Like if there's a good buffet breakfast or something, that's all right.
Oh, how good was that in Thailand? Those buffet breakfasts. I think I haven't stayed at that many resorts. That's why I think of that as... I went to a cousin's wedding in Bali once. I stayed at a resort then as well, and that also had a pretty good buffet. Yeah. But yeah, that one in Thailand was amazing.
That was a good resort.
I'd happily eat there every morning.
Yeah, okay.
Buffet.
Yep. Did you get in the pool at all on that holiday?
Yeah. Played. I got in later than you guys because I just. I think because we were there for the podcast and I had to write. I did a lot of my report writing in the hotel room.
Yeah.
So I didn't enjoy the resort as much as maybe others did, but once I got those done, I was having a pretty good time by the pool. Yeah.
Man, that won't be possible for quite a while now.
Yeah. But
which is weird.
I guess we'll have to do a Do Go On festival somewhere in Victoria. We'll do it down on the surf coast, or do a Torquay.
And we stay in a resort.
Yeah. Do you reckon we could get enough people down there to make it work?
It would have to be like an RACV club kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only thing that rural Victoria has.
Or a Big Four?
I might have a Big Four.
Big Four caravan park?
Big Fours can be pretty good.
I think Torquay would have a resort. They've got like a mantra or something like that.
Yeah, they're going to have a mantra. Lawn's got a mantra.
Yeah, and that mantra is Cowabunga, dudes. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
No good.
No, you did the right thing. Don't you hide your shame. Don't hide it. Embrace it.
Out. So how have you found the lockdown? What have you been doing? You've been watching Lost, haven't you?
Yes. Reluctantly watching Lost. It's gotten to a point now where, because it's a very dramatic show. Like, there's no relief from the drama that these people are going through. I would have given up very quickly if I was in this situation on a deserted island.
I've never seen it. This is the one where each week they get up to hijinks, and there's a captain, and then Ginger, and the rest. Is that one?
And the
Gilligan,
rest.
obviously.
Gilligan's there, of course.
Yeah. His surname, Gilligan Lost. So the show's named after him. Gilligan's Lost.
Yeah.
Which is his full name. And yeah, and then funny things happen, like a polar bear. Like, it's something ridiculous, like a polar bear is there one time.
Yep. There's a polar bear.
Ensue.
And secret underground bunkers, and other people that are there who are called the Others, which is fun. But yeah, it's just gotten too much because it's so tense. And also the world is quite tense at the moment. So watching it was just sort of bumming me out a bit. So now I'm sort of like watching it while doing something else on my phone. Like, I can't be fully immersed in it. And I'm watching just crap sitcoms instead. I've been watching Two Broke Girls. Which is not a good show.
Isn't it?
No.
I haven't seen it, but it seemed like it wouldn't be.
No.
It's been a while since one of those big sitcoms has been really good, right?
Yeah, and it's just like set up, punchline, canned laughter. Set up, punchline, canned laughter. Maybe there's something kind of comforting in that formula at the moment. Because, again, I can be watching it, or I have it on, basically. I'm not really watching. I have it on while I do something else. While I play a game on my phone or something. That's what I've been doing a lot of. I
feel like there's someone, I think one of the creators of that show is like a big stand-up.
Yeah.
Geez, imagine that. You just create a show and then over there, like, if they become big enough, they get into syndication, and you just sort of set up forever.
Yeah.
Whitney Cummings.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I haven't seen it, but it did seem like it would be, like just another one of those sort of Big Bang Theory type shows.
Yeah, I think you could argue that it is fine. Parts of it certainly haven't aged well. A few comments you kind of go, ooh. And when I say hasn't aged well, it only ended a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So
things have changed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
In what you can and can't say. I think that's always evolving, but I think it's moved pretty quickly in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And there's a few things where it's like, oh, I don't know if you okay. It's very samey. A lot of jokes. Right. It's always just like their boss is a short man, and it's just every episode there's like 10 new jokes about him being short. And it's like, he gets it, we get it, we all fucking get it. No one cares,
But he's pretty short though.
He's quite short.
That is good. That is good. I love those sort of things where you're like, I mean, you've written him as he's created by you. So you've created this guy and then you've made fun of him. It's a wild idea. I think the worst version of that, and it was the first time I remember being in a cinema theater and gone, oh, that sucks. I use, for so long, I'm like, I love everything.
Yeah.
Movies are fun. I'm in a cinema. And I went and saw Meet the Parents, and everyone was loving it. And Ben Stiller's character's name was Gaetano or Gaylord Fucker or Fokker.
Fokker.
And someone goes, so your real name's Gay Fokker? So that's just a thing you've made up. How is that?
Yeah.
Seen as being like a big Hollywood comedy punchline that everyone's talking about.
So clever that you've come up with this.
I don't know. Just in that moment, that's just, you could have called him Pig Fuckhead. Would you be, wait, hang on. Is your real name Pig Fuckhead? Yeah, but that's just like the same guy who wrote the name has then made fun of the name. It's so dumb.
Yeah,
but it's great.
It's great. Imagine your name being Gaylord Fokker, though. Hey, Gay Fokker.
Funny. That is pretty funny. So
that's
hang on.
good
your
stuff.
Full name. I might even be remembering that wrong. Maybe it wasn't even that bad and obvious, but it was something like that. And
yeah, I can't remember.
I quite like Ben Stiller as well. It was just, and it was a huge film. People loved it.
Well, and then it had a sequel as well, which I'm not a fan of. I like Ben Stiller, but I don't like that movie or Meet the Parents or what. Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers was the second one, right? Yeah. I can't handle just cringe comedy.
Yeah, where it's like the sane person, everyone else is mad, and it always turns on him. I don't mind cringe comedy a bit. Like I like The Office and I like Curb Your Enthusiasm and stuff like that. But for some reason, this was it was harder to handle.
Yeah, no, I can't. I haven't watched The Office for that reason. I just can't handle. Even I like Arrested Development, but in small doses because it's a bit the same too. Like the whole family's insane.
Jessie had gone too far, and she had best watch her mouth.
It's a bit different. It's not as cringy, but yeah, I can't handle it. I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. I think that's pretty common. That's probably like coriander. I learned that recently, that it's something like, you either hate it and can't stand it. There's something within you that means you just can't handle it.
Yep.
And then the rest is split into people who like it or take it or leave it. I'm sort of in it's pretty good category. And I think I might be the same with cringe.
Yeah, you're like, I don't mind. I can't stand coriander. Like, no. If I take a bite of something that's got it, it's like, I'll pick it out of my mouth.
So this small sample size we've got, admittedly very small, it's a sample size of 2.
Yeah.
You both can't stand cringe and coriander. I'm okay with both.
Yeah.
Extrapolate from that, there's a correlation there.
There has to be, yeah.
Has to be.
And I don't think we even need to look into it further. I think we've nailed it.
I should say I'm not a scientist, but maybe I could be.
You're not a scientist, but that did feel scientific to me.
I'm not technically a scientist.
But in a way, aren't we all, you know what I mean? Science.
Science is using this and a little bit of this. My nipples.
And a little bit of this.
That's not where my nipple is, to be honest.
Where is it?
Which way? Yeah.
It's a little more on the side than I would have thought, but you got a little ET nips.
I make sure they're right out in the side. They can see both ways. I'm more like a bird, one on each side of its head.
You're like a chameleon.
Yeah.
Little nips.
I can move my nipples independently.
Yeah.
But I mean, why do men have nipples? I know women can squirt milk out of them on occasion, but men...
Only special occasions.
Only special formal events.
Yeah. Or hens parties.
Yeah. Oh, I never get invited to them.
No, you never do.
With good reason. Hey, if you want to get in, you better squirt a bit of milk. Come on. I'm red raw here.
Please. So you're saying, why do men have nips?
Yeah, it must be like, if I was a scientist, there'd be, an answer up here. But
I was going to say you'd look a bit weird without it, but I don't reckon you would. You just look like a Ken doll.
And that'd just be how it is.
Yeah.
So there'd be a scientific reason for it. Maybe like we evolved in a way. Did we all evolve from the same the one same person. Is that how it worked? And when we split, man and woman split from one person. Is that right? And that person was a fish man or woman, and they crawled out of the sea and then split in half, creating man and woman, each getting 2 of fish person's nipples, because fish person had 4.
4, yes.
Yeah. So I think that's it. I haven't done science school for a long time.
Yeah. No,
I dropped it at the earliest possible time in high school. They made us do it to year 10, and then I said enough. Well, we should probably, I mean, these aren't meant to go all that long. Obviously, I could talk to you all year. You know, do you think we should break the record for longest ever chat?
Oh, imagine how inane that would get.
Yeah, because you're not doing new things to bring back and talk about.
Yeah, we're just
I remember that time near the start of this chat where we talked about nipples?
Remember that time we thought this was a good idea? Remember that?
You go through real waves like that.
Yeah. I think we just have to just start at the beginning of our lives and tell the whole, like everything you can remember.
All the way back to the 80s? Oh, I'll try. It was a long time ago.
I'd love to hear what they were like.
Okay.
And the 90s, if you can remember that, because I don't.
90s I remember better than the 80s. Let me tell you about, I'll tell you all about the first 8 months of the 90s you missed.
Yeah, that'd be good. Catch me up. What happened?
Very vague on the memory. Well, I just moved to Melbourne.
Okay.
You would have been was, there was a whole new beginning for me. It was coming from the country. Moorabbin was like moving to the big city. It was like I was in Las Vegas. Oh, the lights of Nepean Highway.
Blinding. There's a little montage, a little Matt.
The Saints were still playing at Moorabbin then, so I could walk to the footy. It was maybe one of the first seasons I would have seen live AFL. I think
cool.
1990 might have even been the first year it was called the AFL, I think. It changed from VFL, Victorian Football League, to Australian Football League, I reckon, in 1990.
Huh.
It was it was 89, 90 or 91. I think it was 90.
And who won the premiership in 1990?
Oh, is this is this a brag thing? Who do you go for again?
Well, I did sort of, my family went for Collingwood and they did win that year.
They did win that year.
But I haven't watched
big
footy
year for your family.
Time. Yeah. Me, footy. That's about it. Yeah. That's all that happened that year.
Very big year.
Yeah.
Big year in the world. And, it's been great reminiscing about the year that was 1990. I'd like to give me something to do where I'll put something on the screen. All right. Last week, we mentioned the cook, Ian Hewitson, Huey, and then we were wondering if he was alive or not. So I'm like, all right, I'll put him on the picture on the screen, and in a few seconds, I'll either put a tick or a cross. And thank God he was alive.
He's still alive.
So what's give me a few things from 1990. Say who was the something, and then I'll put them up on the screen. Say this was the something of 1990 and that sort of stuff.
This was the Prime Minister of Australia in 1990. Because I don't know who that was.
Can you believe that man was there then?
Oh, interesting. You assume it was a man, Matt. I'm kidding. It definitely was. And this right here was the Miss Universe of 1990.
Wow. Can you believe it? That other one was ripped off.
Yeah.
Miss New Zealand.
She was dogged. She should have been. And this was the most popular baby name for a boy and girl in 1990.
Oh, yuck. Oh, stinky.
That sucks.
Fart? Really? For a boy? Maybe for a girl.
Yeah, come on.
Little Fart Perkins.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, that's what I was called for the first 10 years of my life.
No, it wasn't Fart. It was, of course, this name.
Much better.
Much better. Much better. Bit of fun before I put it up. All right, well, this is This has been a great time, Jess. How did you enjoy your drink? I think we've been sort of talking about. Did I ever mention you're the first one who's picked an alcoholic drink? We've had orange juice, milk, and coffee before
No.
this.
Oh, Dave had orange juice, didn't he?
He did.
Of course he did. He loves an orange juice.
Loves an OJ.
For me, if it hadn't been a Summersby, I've got a Nippies iced coffee in the fridge. I would have had that because I fucking love a Nippies.
Nippies are great.
Yum. Nippies. Your Nippies are great.
Wait, is that? I never really connected that. Is that why a milk brand is called Nippies?
I've never thought of that, but I hope not. Because it's the best iced coffee. And I don't want to think about little cow nips.
Nah, Dare Iced Coffee, #1, Saint sponsor. #1, Dare.
You've been having them before our recordings lately, and it has been working.
People have said that the last little while has been our best in a while. And after the first live stream, you're like, oh, you're on. You're really on with that Dare Iced Coffee. So I've been drinking Dare Iced Coffee before every Do Go On we've done since. And the results speak for themselves.
Let's keep that up forever.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get you addicted to crack.
Okay, well that's...
By that I mean Dare Iced Coffee. I mean Dare Iced Coffee.
It's as tasty as crack.
It's as good as crack.
Is crack? I don't forget which one crack is. Crack cocaine.
Oh, I just meant like the Irish word for fun.
Oh, fun, yeah. Well, being a very Irish person, obviously I'm made up of Swiss Italian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the exact pie graph is. I'll put it up here, but it's Swiss Italian, it's Irish, and it's Scottish.
Mm.
Unlike you, where you're a pure Irish, right?
Yep. I think. I mean, Perkins is an English name, so there must be a tiny, tiny slither of English in there. So if you're going to do me a pie graph, do it like mostly Irish and then a tiny little slither English.
Right.
And then full true blue Aussie.
So how do you rate it? Did it quench you? What do you give it on the quenchometer?
I'm giving it an 4.5 out of 5.
Wow. That's high quench quality.
Do you have a little bit of a headache? Not a migraine one, just a dehydrated one.
I enjoyed this a lot. I like this brewery. I've been down there a few times, and I don't think you would like this one as much as the Seven Bells.
The Seven Bells ones is basically a cider. That's why I like it.
Yeah, this has still got a bit of that beery flavor, and it's a little bolder. It's not as sweet. It is more sour, obviously. But yeah, I like both of them in different ways.
And so, what are you giving it on the quenchometer?
On the quenchometer, so it's out of 5. Sure. I reckon this quenched me because it's not a super quenching beer, but I'd say it quenched me 3.75.
Ooh.
Quenches.
I mostly went for 4.5 because it said it on there.
Thank you so much for joining us on what were we calling it? Maddie Chatty with no.
Maddie Chatty with Maddie.
Yeah. I'll do an episode where it's me chatting with me.
Oh.
That could be a game changer.
Mate, you're going to get to the bottom of some pretty big issues.
Yeah, I'm like, and I come to at the end, I'm like, oh my God, I know myself so much better here, but also
on my nipples.
Where can people find you if they want to? I'll put links in the show notes to Do Go On podcast and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But the main one you want them to find you on is Instagram, right?
Yes, because I want to get to 10,000, not in a desperate bid for fame, just because I want it to say 10K instead of 7,607, which it currently is. You know?
That is precise.
I think I'm going to check. I was kind of making that up, but I could be right. Let's find out. Here we go. Oh, 7,607. Oh, and 8. I've had one more since then.
So please, across all your accounts, follow Jess. Get her to a target. The world's going through some tough times. If you could pledge your support to Jess, that would really mean a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. I don't post that much, so it's not like I'm going to be clogging up your feeds. I post a tasteful amount. Tasteful amount of nipple, I should say. Sorry, I need to make that clear.
Yes.
Matt's nipples I post only every now
tasteful
and then.
amount.
Yeah.
With a suitable amount of blur. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us, Jess.
Pleasure.
I'll see you real soon, I'm sure. Cheers.
Yeah, I'll see you in a couple of days. Bye.
MattStewartComedy.com.
We did it.
We did it. Can you believe it?
I cannot even believe it.
We did it.